There is something happening inside millions of people right now that almost no one is talking about properly. It doesn't show up clearly on standard tests. It doesn't get addressed in routine checkups. And most people living with it have no idea it's even connected to the symptoms they deal with every single day. It's not loud, it's not obvious, but it slowly affects your energy, your mood, your digestion, your skin, even how your brain feels. The condition is called intestinal permeability. Most people know it by another name, leaky gut. And while the term gets thrown around casually, what it describes is actually very real and very specific. Inside your body, your gut lining acts as a barrier, a filter. It's only one cell thick, which is incredibly delicate, but also incredibly intelligent. Its job is simple in theory, but complex in execution. It allows nutrients from the food you eat to pass into your bloodstream while blocking things that don't belong there: bacteria, toxins, partially digested food particles. When everything is working properly, this system is precise, tight, controlled, but when that lining becomes damaged, something changes, tiny gaps begin to form. Not visible, not something you can feel directly, but enough to let unwanted substances slip through. And once that happens, your immune system steps in. Your body recognizes those particles as threats. It responds the only way it knows how: by creating inflammation. At first, this response is protective, but when the exposure continues day after day, that response doesn't shut off, it becomes constant. A low-level, ongoing state of inflammation that runs quietly in the background. This is where things start to connect. Because that kind of chronic inflammation has been linked to a wide range of conditions. Not just digestive issues, but things that seem completely unrelated on the surface. Fatigue that doesn't go away with rest, brain fog that makes it hard to focus, skin issues that flare up without warning, joint discomfort without injury, even changes in mood, including anxiety and low motivation. What makes it confusing is how scattered the symptoms feel. You might notice bloating after meals, even when the food itself seems normal. Not just heavy meals, almost anything. Foods you used to eat without a second thought suddenly don't sit right anymore. Reactions become unpredictable. Your energy dips at strange times. Your mind feels clear one moment and foggy the next. Your skin reflects what feels like internal imbalance. And over time, you start to treat each symptom separately because they don't seem connected. But in many cases, they are. They're signals. Your body trying to tell you that something is getting through that shouldn't be there. Now the question becomes, what causes this in the first place? It usually isn't one single thing. It's a combination of small, repeated stressors over time. A diet high in refined sugar puts constant pressure on your gut environment. Processed vegetable oils contribute to inflammation. Frequent use of common medications like ibuprofen can gradually weaken the protective lining. Alcohol adds another layer of irritation. Chronic stress changes how your gut functions at a chemical level, thinning the protective mucus layer that shields it. And then there's antibiotics. They are sometimes necessary, but they don't just target harmful bacteria. They also wipe out beneficial bacteria, the ones that help maintain balance inside your gut. Without them, your gut becomes more vulnerable. Individually, each of these factors might not cause a major issue. But together, over months or years, they begin to wear down that delicate barrier. The good news is that your gut is not static. It has the ability to repair itself, and it does so faster than most people realize when the right conditions are in place. One of the key elements in that repair process is something called L-glutamine. It's an amino acid that serves as fuel for the cells lining your intestines. When those cells have enough of it, they can regenerate more effectively. This is why foods like bone broth are often recommended. They provide a natural source of these building blocks. Then there's zinc, specifically in a form that supports gut repair. It helps strengthen the integrity of the lining and supports immune balance within the digestive system. Fermented foods play another important role. Foods like kimchi or natural yogurt introduce beneficial bacteria back into your gut. These bacteria help restore balance, crowd out harmful organisms, and support the overall environment your gut needs to function properly. Collagen-rich foods also contribute by providing structural support.
the raw material your body uses to rebuild tissue. But beyond adding things in, there's also value in taking certain things out. Reducing refined sugar lowers the constant stress on your system. Removing processed oils helps reduce inflammation. Giving your gut a break from these irritants allows it to shift from defense mode into repair mode. And when that shift happens, the changes can feel surprisingly noticeable. Within a couple of weeks, digestion often begins to feel more stable. Bloating becomes less frequent. Meals feel lighter instead of heavy. Energy starts to level out, not spikes and crashes, but a more consistent flow throughout the day. Mental clarity improves. That foggy feeling begins to lift, even if gradually. Mood becomes more steady, less reactive. And one of the most interesting parts is how interconnected everything feels once it starts improving. Because your gut and your brain are constantly communicating. Signals move back and forth all day long. When your gut is inflamed, those signals reflect it. When your gut begins to heal, your brain feels it too. That's why something that starts in your digestive system can show up in your thoughts, your emotions, your focus. Most people look for solutions in isolated places. One fix for energy, another for skin, another for mood. But sometimes the common thread runs deeper. Sometimes it starts in a place most people aren't paying attention to. And when you begin to support that system properly, everything connected to it starts to shift in ways that feel surprisingly natural. Like your body finally has what it needs to function the way it was meant to.